Yes, today we shall be starting with the word strategic management. Now that you are clear on the word strategy, you are clear on the word management, let us club these two words and understand what is meant by strategic management. Okay, so we have a definition here. Let's go through it first. It says strategic management refers to a managerial process. So, strategic management is a process, it's a managerial process. Okay, number one thing that you have to understand is strategic management is a process. Okay, process of what? When I say process, that means we have to do certain things, okay, in sequence, let's say. So it's a process wherein number one, you have to form a strategic vision. Okay, now what is vision and all, I'll tell you, but let's read the definition once, guys. So what is strategic management? It refers to the managerial process of forming a strategic vision. Then you have to set something called as objectives. Then you have to craft strategies, and only by crafting strategies perhaps is not going to help you, so you might have to implement and execute those strategies. And once you implement and execute the strategies also, there might be a lot of changes in the environment. Again, Modi ji might come up with some new law, etc. So we'll have to fine tune our strategies. We might have to make changes in our strategy. So it says wherever possible, taking corrective adjustments. So this is collectively, these activities are collectively called as strategic management process. Okay, again, what is strategic management, guys? Number one, it's a process of what? It's a process wherein you have to first know your vision. Okay, then accordingly set your objectives, and to realize those objectives we have to basically make strategies, and only by making strategies, of course, will not give you results. So you have to implement those strategies, and at times you will also have to make corrections in those strategies that you have made. Okay, so this entire process is called as strategic management. Now I have not yet discussed any of the words. We are just understanding, we are just trying to break up the definition so you get a idea as to what the definition is trying to tell us. Okay, so in very simple terms, guys, if I again put this, strategic management refers to basically three things. Okay, in simple words, if I say, I mentioned about these words earlier also, it is about formulation of strategies. Then strategic management also encompasses implementation of strategies, and after implementation also you might have to take corrective actions and all. So it also means evaluation of those strategies, whether those strategies are giving us the results or not, whether they are proper or not, etc., whether it is helping the organization to achieve the objectives or not. So these three things, when we combine, and we can call this as a process, and process of strategic management. Okay, I'm reading the definition again, and then we are going to understand each of the words which we are going to cover along in the definition. Okay, so what is strategic management? Please remember always, it's a process, it's a managerial process. Okay, of what? How does it start? So we have to have something called as vision first. Okay, after we set our vision, after the vision is formulated, we are going to set our objectives. Okay, and to basically achieve those objectives, we are going to make strategies, and after making the strategies, we have to work upon it, we have to take action, so we have to implement those strategies, and then we might have to even evaluate the strategies, take corrective action wherever required. So this entire process can be called as strategic management. I'm going to read it a lot of times, so please bear with me. However, let's now try and understand the definition, guys. It says strategic management is a process. Okay, where does it start from? So it says that it starts from something called as, you have to form something which is called as vision. Okay, so if you can see, forming a strategic vision. Okay, so if I put it in very simple terms, guys, let's understand the definition properly. Okay, so if I put it in very simple terms, okay, the first thing in the strategic management process is that we have to come up with something called as vision. Okay, now what is vision? In extremely layman's terms only I'm trying to tell you, right? Don't worry, we have all these words, vision, objective, etc., everything is going to be covered in detail later on, but for the timing, just to understand the definition of strategic management, let's briefly understand the meaning of the word vision. So in very simple terms, guys, I can say the vision is basically the dream, the ultimate destination where we want to be. It's the destination where we aspire to be, the heights that we want to reach. It's the dream. So it has not happened yet, but a place where we want to reach, a goal, a long term goal that we want to achieve. Okay, so the dreams basically, it's about the future, right? So I can say vision is about the future, guys. Let's say in very layman's terms, it's our dream. What is it that we are trying to ultimately achieve or establish? Okay, so vision is something about the future, the dream, the ultimate destination that we want to reach. Okay, so the strategic management process starts with the fact that you have to have this dream, you have to have this vision, you have to have this, you know, clarity that okay, where is it that you want to go in life, where you want to reach in life. So first thing in strategic management is to have a clear vision. Okay, but along with this, guys, I am along with vision, generally what happens, you know, vision is accompanied by something else also. We call it as mission. Along with vision, okay, we also come up with one more statement, I can say, which is called as mission. Okay, now what is mission? Mission talks about, let's say, who we are. Okay, what business are we in right now? So I'm just writing in short, on in very simple terms, mission talks about the present. Mission talks about the present. Okay, so let's say I can put it in this way: what business are we doing? Okay, and how do we do the business, how are we doing it, why do we even exist, what is our purpose? So all this is basically a part of mission. For the timing, just for your understanding, guys, remember, mission is about the present. Mission is about the present, whereas vision is about the future. Okay, and generally, guys, what happens, you must have seen a lot of companies, they come up with their vision statement. Okay, they will say that this is what we aspire to be, this is what we dream of. So that is basically the vision statement. But you know, practically, if I tell you, what happens is, companies, when they come up with their vision statement, they would also come up with something called as mission statement. Why? Because vision is only about the future. Okay, now let's say if I tell you about my vision, but you don't know about my present scenario, probably you'll not be able to relate to the vision properly. I mean, you'll feel that, hey, this person, probably what he has written, you know, will he be able to achieve that or not? You'll not be able to understand the vision unless you know my present scenario. Okay, what business I am in right now, what is it that I'm trying to achieve at the moment. So generally, along with the vision statement, to make the vision statement, you know, uh, uh, understandable, it is generally supported by vision, mission statement also. Okay, anyways, so I'm not going into the vision and mission in detail as of now, but just to give you an idea again, guys, vision is about the future and mission is something about the present. Okay, what business are we in, and how do we do business, and let's say, what is the purpose, why do we even exist, what technology are we using. All these things are a part of mission. Okay, so mission is about present and vision is about the future. Fair. Okay, what happens is, guys, this vision is something that is about the future, right? So it cannot happen overnight. This is something where we aspire, so it might take 5 years, 8 years, 10 years to realize, to get to that dream position, to achieve your dream. It might take you 4 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, right? So vision is of course about the future, it is going to take time, right? But you have to basically reach from this mission to your vision, right? From the present, you have to go, you have to realize your vision. This is your aim, right? This is what you want. So what happens is, and it's not a small journey, guys, it's a long journey. It might take a lot of efforts, a lot of pain, a lot of time, a lot of resources, etc., right? So what happens is, in order to realize this vision, okay, in order to realize this vision, let's say I am a company and we are into electronics, so I make headphones, I make speakers, etc., and my vision is to become India's number one company in the, let's say, in the technology, in terms of technology company, or let's say in terms of being very specific, let's say speakers or headphones, etc. Okay, so I have this vision to become India's number one, to become India's favorite brand. Okay, but then it is not going to happen overnight. We have to work for that, right? So in this journey to become the number one in India, to in order to realize this vision, in order to reach to this vision, I will have to set a lot of small objectives, This O is basically objectives. So I'll have to set a lot of small objectives, and as and when I realize each of the objectives, I shall be moving towards my vision, towards my dream. Like if I put in very layman's terms, guys, you can't just clear 12 and have a dream, I have to become CA. Of course you may have a dream, but to become a CA, to realize that vision of yours, you'll have to set small objectives and keep on achieving those. These are small steps, ladders, which you have to climb, and then ultimately you are going to reach to your vision, right? So similarly, I mean, continuing with the example, so that is why we have small objectives. Let's say in the term of CA foundation, you have CA intermediate to clear, then the CA final, then you have articleship. All these are small objectives which you have to clear. And as and when you clear, when you achieve these objectives, you are going to reach closer to your vision, right? So what happens is, from the present, you have to go here, because it's a long journey. Small objectives are set in between, right? And very important now, to achieve these objectives, guys, to achieve, okay, so to achieve these individual objectives, okay, what happens is the management of the company will make strategies. To achieve these objectives, the management of the company will make objectives. And hence I always say, guys, that as and when we keep on achieving, realizing our small objectives, ultimately one day we'll reach to our vision. Okay, so you can't jump to the vision directly. To reach to that vision, you have to set small objectives. To achieve those objectives, the strategies are made. Okay, now in very simple terms, guys, only by making strategies, of course, will not help you to achieve those small objectives, right? So we have to implement, we have to execute those strategies also. Now if you have understood this entire context, guys, though I have not gone into the details of explaining you the vision and the mission, we have it in this chapter, don't worry. But uh, based on this diagram, now have a look at the definition of strategic management again. It says, it starts with, strategic management is a process. Okay, it starts with what? It starts with forming a strategic vision. First comes the vision. Okay, and generally along with vision, you can also write mission also, guys, even if it is not there in the definition. Mostly practically this happens, that along with the vision, you also want to convey to others in the form of statement that, okay, this is our present, this is what we are currently doing. So you are going to first make your vision and mission, then you are going to set the small objectives. Okay, and to achieve these objectives, you have to craft strategy. Craft means formulate, make the strategies. But I told you, I have been telling you this, only by making strategies won't be sufficient. You'll not be getting results. So we have to implement and execute those strategies. And also, once the strategies are made, guys, because the environment is really complex, it's not stable, there is a lot of variability in the environment, a lot of changes keep on happening. So it says we might have to initiate corrective adjustments. And corrective adjustments where? Corrective adjustments can be in all these aspects, in the vision, objective, strategy, and execution, as deemed appropriate over a period of time. So you might have to take corrective adjustments. So this corrective adjustments is nothing but a part of evaluation. Okay, I hope the definition is clear, guys. Again, what is strategic management? Number one, it's a managerial process of, number one, what is it that we have to make first? Vision, mission. And on the basis of vision, mission, sir, we are going to set small objectives. And to realize these objectives, we make strategies. And we have to implement those strategies. Maybe there are changes in the environment, we might have to work again, so we might have to take corrective action. It's a part of evaluation. Okay, so this is strategic management. Strategic management doesn't just mean that you make strategies. So after making the strategy, we have to make efforts, we have to ensure that the implementation, execution is proper. And thereafter, we also have to ensure, it's a part of control, we have to ensure whether the strategies are working as intended or not, whether the strategies are actually helping us in realizing our objectives or not. So that is a part of evaluation. Okay, and if you see, guys, these are the chapters that we are going to cover in the subject of strategic management. If you have a look at the index again, it says you know chapter 4 is strategic choice. It's about, you have to first understand the environment, you have to first know your own strengths, weakness, you have to assess the external environment to know about the opportunities and threats, then only you are going to formulate strategies. So strategic choice is about formulation, then we have implementation, and then we have the control part also, which is evaluation. Okay, and before formulation there are of course some prerequisites. You can't just randomly formulate the strategies, you have to know about yourself, you have to know about the environment, right? So we have these two basic chapters also, which is about strategic analysis. We have to learn about external environment as well as internal environment. So hence, I mean, if you read the definition again, guys, the uh, definition justifies, I mean, it's quite clear that okay, this is what we have to study in the entire subject. Three things: formulation, implementation, evaluation. But formulation, of course, you can't formulate directly, so there are certain prerequisites, that like understanding the environment, understanding yourself. Okay, so all this we are going to cover up. All right, fine. Now, guys, again, so I told you this. Okay, strategic management will involve, let's say, drafting or formulation of vision and mission. Okay, do you think, guys, strategic management, are we just going to randomly make strategies, or will there be evaluation of the environment? Will there be understanding of the environment? What do you think? Can we make strategies randomly, or should we understand both internal, external environment and then accordingly craft strategies? What do you think, guys? We have to understand, right? And yeah, and in very layman's terms, if I say, guys, when I say that I have to assess internal environment, it simply means that I have to know my own strengths and weaknesses, right? Guys, when you make a strategy for your exam, you're not going to, you shouldn't be copy pasting the strategies which your friend makes. You need to know your own strengths and weaknesses, right? You need to know what opportunities, threats are there in the external environment. Accordingly, you have to make your strategies. You can't just copy paste it, right? So here also, in terms of business, if I say, guys, you have to scan the environment. And when I say scan the environment, it includes both external as well as internal environment, right? So we have a point here: strategic management, it involves developing company's vision. So yes, first we are going to make a vision, then environmental scanning, both external and internal, then see the word strategy formulation, then we have strategy implementation and evaluation and control. So basically, the strategic management entire process is a 5-step process. Number one, let's talk about, you have to make a vision, then do an environmental scanning, then formulate your strategies, then implement your strategies, and keep on evaluating your strategies. That's it. Okay, and I told you, guys, why would we do an analysis or scanning of the external environment? External environment will give us an idea about the opportunities and threats, and when we do an analysis of the internal environment, it is going to give us an idea about our strengths and weakness. Anyways, we are going to learn about it in later, we have specific chapters of external environment, internal environment. But yeah, this is part of strategic management. Okay, so strategic management, again, to summarize, guys: number one, to have a vision, then do an environmental scanning, then formulate, then implement, and then evaluate. This is all about the subject, rather I can say, yes, the entire subject of strategic management. Fine, have you all understood the definition, guys? Is it clear to everyone? Yes, sir. Okay, all right. Now let us now understand, okay, so what all things do we have to cover in the concept of strategic management? Let us first try and understand this. Okay, so if you can see, we have covered the basics, right? We just covered the definition of strategic management. So if I just tell you, under the strategic management concept, we have covered the definition, but we have three more topics to cover with respect to this strategic management. Okay, number one, if you can see, I'm just giving you an overview. What are the topics we have to cover? Number one topic after the definition is objectives. What are the objectives of strategic management? Sorry. Yeah, so we are going to cover what are the objectives of strategic management. Okay, then we are going to cover what are the benefits of strategic management, or let's say what is the importance of strategic management. And finally, if you can see, another topic of strategic management, theoretical topic, is basically what are the disadvantages, or let's say what are the limitations of strategic management. So the third thing that we are going to cover is limitations. Okay, so of course you have to remember the definition, guys. what is strategic management? Because most of the times if they ask you a direct question, what can happen is they might ask you what is strategic management and what are the benefits of strategic management. So many of the students, most of the students will be able to write the benefits, but then when it comes to what is strategic management, they will write horrible quality answers. They'll write answers even worse than what you write in your BCom exam. So you'll not get marks there. So that is why have a formal definition, one definition only clear in your mind. And we have already covered strategic management is what? It's a managerial process of, again, setting up. Number one is formulation of vision. See the words also. Formulate the vision, set the objectives, craft the strategies, implement and or execute those strategies, and take corrective actions. Corrective actions in all the four steps above. It may be corrective adjustments in vision, it may be in objectives, it may be in the strategy, it may be in the execution also. Okay, so we might have to take corrective adjustments, make corrective adjustments. So this is called as evaluation part. Fine. Okay. So guys, let's understand now what is the objective of strategic management. Okay. Now, very simple. If I tell you in very simple terms, guys, there are only two objectives. Why would any business entity have something called as strategic management? Primarily two objectives. What are the two objectives? Number one is to create competitive advantage, to have the competitive advantage, so that companies can gain advantage over their competitors, to be better than our competitors. Okay, so we will be making all these strategies, putting all our brains and efforts so that we can be at a better position than our competitors. Okay, so the number one objective of strategic management is to create competitive advantage. Okay, so it says to create competitive advantage so that company can gain advantage over customer competitors, sorry, and dominate the market. Okay, now if I tell you one example, let's say if you think of, let's take the example of Apple. Okay, now Apple has a competitive advantage. Why? Because of its innovative product designs and maybe the user friendly interfaces. So because of this, they have gained, let's say, some edge over their competitors in the technology industry. So they must have made strategies how to make their products more innovative, how to make the design of the products better, how to make it more user friendly, and this has helped them to gain competitive advantage over their competitors, right? So that's one example. Okay, so first objective of strategic management is what? To gain competitive advantage. Okay, and second objective is, guys, all of you know this, that the environment is not stable, and the environment, the factors of the environment, right, the we can't predict, right? So if you have strategic management in place, okay, it is going to guide the company, it's going to help the company, it's going to guide the company through all the changes in the environment. So if the environment becomes very turbulent also, you will still be in a better position to cope up with the turbulence if you have strategic management. Okay, so in very simple terms, again, if I say, guys, uh, strategic management helps you to stay adaptable and responsible to the changes in the business environment. So it is because of strategic management you can change yourself, you can update yourself as to the requirements of the environment. Okay, now if I take a very simple example, all of you must have heard about Netflix, right? All of you know Netflix, yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Do you know, how many of you know that Netflix, was a company who was into the renting of DVDs? They were earlier into the DVD rental services. Okay, so they started, okay, some other companies, some other production houses would make movies and all, and they started, as a company who would rent out DVDs of such movies or the shows that we have. But then they saw that no, the environment is changing, they saw that the world is going to move towards internet. So then because of the strategic management, it was, I can't say it was easier, but yes, because of strategic management, I can say that Netflix evolved from a DVD rental service to a streaming platform in response to let's say changes in how people have started consuming media these days. So it's all about strategic management. If you don't have strategic management in place, probably you'll be left out. Okay, if you don't scan the environment, if you don't tune your strategies accordingly, you will be thrown out of the industry, you'll be thrown out of the business. So I can say by adapting its strategy, let's say to embrace the technology. Okay, Netflix maintained its relevance and competitive position still in the entertainment industry. Yes, so strategic management basically guides a company through all the changes that happens in the environment. So it makes you more adaptable, it makes you more responsive. Okay, you don't have to explain this. This is how it is given in our ICA material also. So for the timing, guys, you have to understand two objectives of strategic management. What are the two objectives? Number one, to create competitive advantage, and you can also write, remember, guiding the company or guiding the entity through environmental changes. Okay, are you clear with this? Are you, is the objective clear to everyone, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, quite easy, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So next thing about strategic management. Okay. So I told you we have to cover the objectives, we have benefits, and we have limitations. So guys, we have covered two objectives. We have covered two objectives. Okay. And if I'm go with the ICI material, guys, we have to cover seven benefits. Okay. And we are going to cover four limitations. Okay. As per our ICI material. Now, why am I writing these numbers and all? Because I'll tell you something, right? Let's say they ask you a question, what is strategic management and what are the benefits of strategic management. Okay, so let's say if the question is only of 5 marks, what is strategic management and what are the benefits of strategic management? I have seen a lot of students, they they assume by themselves that okay, 1 point will carry 1 mark, and because it's a 5 mark question, they'll end up writing 5 points only, even though the topic here has 7 points. So if you do this, the moment you just write 5 points, probably the one who is checking your paper, he'll feel that okay, he doesn't know, the student, he or she doesn't know the 2 points, so immediately the marks is going to be deducted for you not writing the 2 points. Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, we have to admit, so you can't assume by yourself that 1 point will carry 1 mark. What if he is thinking that 1 point is carrying half marks only? So you can't assume that. Yes, unless and until the question specifically says that write 5 benefits of strategic management, then you write 5 benefits. Else, always remember, guys, that you have to write all. Okay, because I know how papers are being checked in ICI, okay, exams. So the paper checker will be having the suggested answer, and then he will do a match the following thing. Okay, the more your answer matches with the suggested, the more marks you are going to get. But then when the suggested will have 7 points and you end up writing 5 points, probably then you'll say ICI doesn't give you the marks. Okay, anyways, all right. So let's take up this concept now, importance, or let's say benefits of strategic management. So let's discuss this, importance or benefits of strategic management. Very simple question again. Okay, number 1 point, if I discuss here, it says strategic management gives direction to the company to move ahead. Of course, guys, strategic management starts with what is the first step in strategic management? That you have to, we have to make a vision, right? So vision is about the future, it's about the future, so it gives us a direction. Strategic management, number 1 point is it helps us in setting the direction. It helps us in, it gives a direction to the company as to in which direction the company has to move ahead. Okay, so it helps management to define realistic mission, objectives, and goals which are in line with the vision of the company. So according to the vision, you are going to set your mission, your objectives, etc. That's it. So the number 1 point again is what strategic management helps the company decide where it wants to go and how to get there, in very simple words. Okay, now if I you know uh, give one example. Let's say, if, guys, uh, let's say I have a vision. Okay, I have a company and I have a vision to become a leader in, let's say, sustainable energy. Okay, so I want to become a leader, I want my company to become a leader in sustainable energy. So strategic management would involve setting objectives like maybe increasing the renewable energy sources in my products portfolio, and maybe reducing the carbon emissions and all that we do, if we really want to be a sustainable energy leader. Okay, so guys, when the vision is clear, of course it gives us a direction as to where we have to go ahead. Okay, very simple, right? So what is the first thing that you have to remember, guys? Okay, now, because these questions, I mean these points, if you can see, we don't have a heading here, but just for you to remember the points, I'm just writing down the headings. If you want, you can remember. Number one is, let's say, setting direction, or if you just want to remember the keyword, just remember the word direction. That's it. Okay. All right. Next is strategic management helps organization to be more proactive, instead of being reactive in shaping its future. So because of strategic management, guys, you can be more proactive. Now, instead of merely reacting to the changes in the market, strategic management allows organization to anticipate and, accordingly shape up their future. So you are prepared, you do a lot of planning in advance. Okay. Now, guys, a very simple example again, if I tell you that, okay, strategic management, how does strategic management makes you proactive? Okay, let's say I have a small retail shop. I have a small retail shop, and people, of course, from my locality will come to the shop and they'll buy things and they'll go. But then I saw this, okay, that people gradually don't want to move out of their house. Everything can be placed order, you can place order online. So if I am a retail company, I might use strategic management to understand or to anticipate shifts in the consumer preferences towards online shopping, and accordingly I can invest in e-commerce platform before my competitors. So if I do that, of course I'll have a competitive advantage. Okay. Now, in what happened, I mean, I have a lot of friends, I mean my colleagues also, who were, let's say, teaching with me. Okay. Now I'll give you my example only. Now, in March 2020, this corona thing happened, okay, and everyone went online. I mean, the teaching, everything went online totally. But then it was not a, a problem for me at all, because I had my online classes prior to that only. Because we could sense that, okay, the soon the preferences would move towards watching online lectures. Why would students want to relocate to a different city to just to attend the lectures and all? Probably. So of course, from 2018 I am into online lectures. Okay. So when 2020 corona pandemic hit, so I was not much, disturbed with this, because we were already in the service of giving online lectures, right? But then my other friends, colleagues, who were some of the teachers who were associated with me, and they did not have online lectures and all, it became really very difficult for them, right? So that's what I'm saying, that strategic management is going to make you what more proactive. Anyways, done. So two benefits we have covered. It helps us in setting the direction, it gives us a direction as to where we have to move ahead. Second is basically it makes you more proactive. So strategic management helps organization to be more proactive instead of reactive in shaping its future. It helps them in working within unexpected changes in the environment and shaping it, instead of getting carried away by the turbulence of uncertainties, right? So it's more about, you already know the concept of being proactive, reactive. So just remember, strategic management is going to help you to be more proactive. Okay. All right. Third one, it says strategic management provides guidance to the entire organization on crucial points. Okay. So the third point is, what is it we are going to discuss, but let's say it provides guidance on crucial matters like, okay, which businesses I can start with, okay, or what product should I launch, which market should I try to capture, where should we have our manufacturing facilities, where should I make the investments, how should the organizational structure be. So it is going to guide us a lot on crucial points, okay, which is very important for running the business. So I can just say strategic management provides, I can say, one benefit is it gives better guidance. Okay. And if you want better guidance on what, if you want to write very specifically as what is given in ICI material, just for your understanding, you may even take this point. Guidance, it provides better guidance on crucial points. And what could be the crucial points? Number one, sir, what business to do, where to invest our money, where what products to launch, if you are launching a product, which market should we be capturing, all these things, it gives us a guidance. Okay. So uh, in extremely layman's language, if I say, guys, strategic management provides clear guidance on important decisions, such as which market to enter, which product to develop, how to structure the organization, etc. Okay. Now if I give you one example here, uh, let's say we are a technology company. Okay. So technology company might use the concept of strategic management to decide whether to focus on software development, or let's say hardware manufacturing, And of course, based on, it is going to be based on what? It is going to be based on the market trends. It is going to be based on our own internal capabilities. Do we have the infrastructure? Do we have the knowledge? Do we have the money? Do we have the capital to manufacture our own hardware, or should we resort to software development? So if I'm a technology company, I'll use strategic management to come up with a decision that should I be into software or should I be into hardware, right? That's it. Okay, so strategic management gives us better guidance on what? On crucial decisions, guys, crucial points that we come across in the business. Done. Three benefits already covered. Again, I'm repeating, what was the first benefit? Strategic management helps us to set direction. Number two, strategic management makes the entity more proactive. Third, strategic management helps the entity, or let's say guides the entire entity for better decision making, or it guides that entity on crucial points. Okay, done. Next, guys, is basically strategic management. Fourth point, strategic management seeks to prepare the corporation to face the future. It acts as a pathfinder to various business opportunities. Okay, guys, remember strategic management. Okay, strategic management starts with what? You have to set your vision. Do you do an environmental scanning also? Do you try to know about external environment, internal environment? Yes. So guys, when we scan the external environment, which of course comes under strategic management, we will get to know about the opportunities which are there in the environment. So the next biggest benefit of strategic management is it acts as a pathfinder. Pathfinder for what? It says it acts as a pathfinder to various business opportunities. So I can just write, pathfinder, or in, if you want to use the word which is given in ICA material, you can just write that strategic management acts as a pathfinder. Pathfinder of what? You can mention, of course, opportunities. Okay, and the next line says organizations are able to identify the available opportunities and the ways and means as to how to grab them or reach them. So one very good benefit of strategic management is basically when you scan the environment, you get to know about the opportunities, and accordingly, if you have the necessary resources, guys, you would want to grab them. Okay, all right, are you clear on this, guys?
Yes, sir.
4 points. Okay, yeah, we have covered four benefits. Okay, now what is the fifth benefit? We have three more benefits to cover. Now, strategic management serves as a corporate defense mechanism. It will protect you. If you have strategic management process in place, guys, it will help you not to take wrong decisions. It will help you basically to avoid mistakes. You will not be taking wrong decisions. Okay, the chances of you taking wrong decisions would be very less. Okay, why? I'll just give you an example. First, let's read this point. It says strategic management serves as a corporate defense mechanism. It is going to protect you against mistakes and pitfalls. It helps organization to avoid costly mistakes. So one benefit I'll write here is avoiding mistakes. Avoiding mistakes. Okay, now how is it possible, sir? How can strategic management help us to avoid mistake? Now let's say, guys, there's a pharmaceutical company, one who manufactures medicines. Okay, now a pharmaceutical company might conduct extensive market research, or before let's say investing in the development of a new medicine or a new drug, to ensure that there is sufficient demand, to ensure that they might get how what to keep the price of the medicine as, so that they can get a competitive advantage. So if you don't have a strategic management in place, if you don't analyze the environment, if you don't know about your competitors, probably you launch a medicine, it might not give you profits. You might not be into a successful, it might not be a successful product. So it is better that if you do a strategic management, guys, when you do an analysis of the environment, when you try to understand the need of the market, when you try to know about your competitors, accordingly you can take decisions. So in simple words, if you follow strategic management, it will help you to avoid mistakes. Mistakes might be really very costly. So fifth benefit of strategic management is that it is going to help you to take right decisions. It will protect you. So I can say it will serve as a corporate defense mechanism. Fine. Okay, so we have covered five benefits already. Now let's see the next two benefits. Benefit number six also. Okay, all right. Now the next benefit is Strategic management helps to enhance longevity of the business. Now, what does this mean? It says ensuring longevity. Okay, longevity means your business would be able to survive in the long run. Okay, now in this competitive and fast-paced environment, guys, companies need strategic management to basically adapt and to thrive in the long run. If you don't have a strategic management process in place, it will be very difficult for you to survive eventually. Okay, now so in simple words, if I say, guys, again, if taking you back to the example of the retail store that I told you, let's say if I have a retail store, okay, again, and if I use strategic management, so maybe I invested some money in an e-commerce platform. So I have a retail store as well as an e-commerce platform. So even if the customers stop coming to the shop physically, at least I would be able to survive. Why? Because I have an e-commerce platform, right? So if you have strategic management in place, it will enhance the longevity of the business. In simple words, guys, it is going to ensure that we thrive over a long period of time. Okay, all right. Now, in competitive and dynamic environment, organizations may not be able to survive in the long run without proper strategy. So if you don't have proper strategies in place, your survival might become an issue. So what is the sixth advantage that I can write, guys? You can say longevity or ensures longevity. That means you will be able to survive in the long run because of the strategic management. Okay. All right. So we have covered six benefits, and let's do the last one also. It says over a period of time, strategic management will help us to develop something called as core competency. Okay. So it is going to help us to develop core competency and we can have competitive advantage. Basically, it simply means that is going to set us apart from our competitors, right? So when I say I'll be having competitive advantage, it simply means that I have a better position than my competitor, maybe in terms of market position, in terms of profit, in terms of brand, it may be anything, right? So the last point of strategic management, the benefit is what? Please remember that there are two words here. It says it will help you to develop core competencies. So strategic management will help us. It is going to help us in developing core competency, and because of this core competency you might get competitive advantage. Now, what is core competency, guys? Something which you do very uniquely, something which others are maybe not doing it. Okay, so core competencies is actually going to give us competitive advantage. Now, if I put in very layman's terms, though we are going to cover about core competency on later, but let's say, what is the core competency of Domino's? Domino's core competency is delivery. That, now everyone knows that we have Swiggy, we have Zomato, but Domino's is into this delivery business since ages, guys. So their core competency is to get you the pizza within 30 minutes. This is their core competency, and because of this they have a competitive advantage. Now, if I don't want to dress up and go out to a restaurant to have pizza, probably I'll just order from Domino's, right? So they have a competitive advantage in this segment. So it is because of the strategic management helps us to evolve our core competencies, because of which we get what? Competitive advantage. Again, competitive advantage is something which sets us apart from our competitors. That simply means we are at a better position than our competitors. Okay, so the last benefit, how should I write it? Yeah, I it is better if I write it in this way, that it helps you to develop competencies. And guys, because of these competencies, what happens is, because of these competencies, we get competitive advantage. We basically are in a better position than our competitors. Okay, are you all clear with this? Okay. Now, yeah, if I again give you one generic example, okay. So let's say a hospitality company, okay. Now, it might one company is focusing exceptionally, well, on, let's say, maintaining the customer services, giving very personalized services to their customers, and because of this, they, people have started preferring this particular company. So they have created a core competency, and because of which they are getting now a competitive advantage. Okay, so anyways guys, what is core competency, what is competitive advantage, you have to wait for some time, we'll be covering it in other chapters. Okay, but then for the time being, what is it that we have covered? We have covered the 6 benefits of strategic management. I'm just repeating them again. Number one, strategic management helps us to have a clear direction. Where is it that the company has to move? It gives us a clear set of direction. Okay, that this is where we have to move ahead. Okay, number two, it makes the entity more proactive. Third, it gives the entire organization better guidance on crucial matters like which business to venture in, which product to launch, where to launch the product, where to have our manufacturing facility, etc. Okay, then it acts as a pathfinder also. When I say pathfinder, it will help us to find opportunities, identify opportunities, and of course then we are going to work on ways to grab those opportunities. Then strategic management serves as a corporate defense mechanism. It helps you to avoid costly mistakes. Okay, you'll not be taking have haywired or random decisions. Okay, then because of strategic management, you can ensure, this will ensure longevity simply means you will be able to survive in the long run. Without proper strategies, your survival might become an issue. Okay, and then finally, because of the strategic management helps a company to evolve or develop their core competencies, because of which ultimately they are going to have competitive advantage. Okay, so these are the 7 importance, or let's say benefits of strategic management. Again, I'm telling you guys, if they ask you in the exam what are the benefits of strategic management, or what is the importance of strategic management, please write all the 7 points. Okay, and that is why I've tried my best to make you remember through these headings. Okay, all right, now that we have covered what are the objectives of strategic management, we already know the benefits of strategic management. Let us quickly discuss few limitations also. Of course, see, strategic management has got certain limitations also, so let's understand the limitations of strategic management. Okay guys, number one limitation is, see, I told you that, okay, in strategic management, we set the vision, we do the environmental scanning, and accordingly, we set our objectives, and then we are going to make strategies. But then, what is the use? Because even if you make the best of the strategies, we can't predict everything in advance, right? The environment is full of turbulence, uncertainties. So, this is the major limitation of strategic management. That number one is that the environment is very uncertain, it is very extremely super complex. Okay, so number one is environment is highly complex and turbulent, and it is very difficult to understand the complex environment and exactly pinpoint how it will shape up in the future. So first limitation, again, I am going to write few headings here. If you want, you can take a note of this. The number one heading is that the environment is complex and uncertain. You can write the heading complex and what are the two words? Complex and uncertain environment. Okay, so first limitation. So no matter how, whatever analysis of the internal environment, external environment you do, maybe you formulate the best of the strategies, but still, I told you the strategies can't give you an optimal assurance, right, guarantee of all the good outcomes, right? The reason is because the environment is very complex, it keeps on changing, it's constantly changing. Okay, now if I give you one example, let's say, guys, uh, I I'm into a retail company. I'm into retail business. Let's say we have a retail company, and I did my R&D. I did survey. I took data of the consumer preferences, and then I invested a big amount, a heavy amount in new technology. Okay, only to find I invest in new technology, and then I realize only to find that within 2 months of time the consumer preferences have shifted unexpectedly, and this is going to make my strategy ineffective. All my money, etc., might be lost, right? So you never know. So the reason, number one drawback or limitation of strategic management is what? That the environment, it's very uncertain, it is very complex to understand. Okay, then again, guys, strategic management is maybe it's a very time consuming process. In theoretical life, if I'm teaching you strategic management, perhaps it is going to be the shortest subject, smallest syllabus, right, we have. But practical life, strategic management is a time consuming process. If you want to see the results, you have to be patient. Okay, it might take a lot of resources, lot of efforts. So let's read this. The second disadvantage is, I'm writing the heading first, it's a time consuming process. Okay, so strategic management is a time consuming process. Organizations spend a lot of time in preparing the strategy, communicating the strategy, and it may impede, it may hamper the daily operations also, and it might impact your business, existing business as well. Okay, now just for example, let's say a manufacturing company. Okay, they might spend months conducting market research, or they might spend months before planning to launch a new product line. Okay, and this may delay their existing production schedule, this may impact their existing sales also. So when I say strategic management is a time consuming process, of course it requires a lot of time, but at the same time it may hamper, it may disrupt your daily operations, and it may negatively impact the routine businesses also. So whenever you're coming up with a new strategy, something wrong may also happen, right? So second limitation of strategic management is it is a time consuming process. Third, it is a costly process. Okay, so third limitation is what we it's a costly process. Costly process. Now what does this mean? Strategic management is a costly process. Strategic management adds a lot of expenses to an organization. Okay, now guys, uh, if I put it in this way, guys, any strategic management you think of, if you are doing a market research also, if you are understanding the environment, of course you'll have to invest, you'll have to hire right people also. Okay, now if let's say I'm a startup, we are a startup company, okay, we might have to allocate a large portion of our budget to hire consultants and invest in market research and development. If I'm a startup company, of course we'll have to invest heavily in market research to come up with something competitive, to become competitive. So it's not a easy thing, it's not very you'll have to invest a lot of resources. So it says it's a costly process. So strategic management is a costly process. Strategic management adds a lot of expense to an organizer or organization. Expense in what terms, guys? Expert strategic planners. So you need to invest not just in terms of money, but in manpower also. You need to have human capital. Okay, expert strategic planners need to be engaged. Efforts are made for analysis of external and internal environments, and then devise the strategy and implement also. So guys, to formulate strategies we need human capital, to implement those strategies we need finance capital. For example, let's say I hired few human experts, strategists, okay, and then they say that okay, we have done our research, you need to expand, we need to have three more showrooms. So now to bring that strategy into reality, to execute the strategy, I would need capital to open three showrooms, right? So when I say it's a costly process, it's a costly process. Why? Because we need both human capital, we need financial capital as well. Okay, anyways, so I feel, guys, if at all a question on limitation is asked, every student is going to write time and cost as the first 2 points. Okay, but don't forget this one also, guys. The environment is very complex and uncertain, and this is one of the major limitations of strategic management. Okay, fine. And the last one, please mark it as important. Why? Because it's not going to be asked as a separate question, but important because this is one point which I've observed students have the tendency to forget, and then they're somehow like, oh, I think there were 4 points, but they will write 3 points, and fourth point they'll cook up stories and then write it down. So this is one point wherein generally I've seen students forgetting this point. Okay, so what is this? It says in a competitive scenario where all organizations, all your competitors, all players in the market are trying to move strategically, it is difficult to clearly estimate the competitive responses to a firm's strategy. So what does it mean? Okay, first let me just write the heading for you. It says, let's say, uncertain competitive response. Okay, now what does it mean, guys? It simply means, uh, I'll give you one example. Guys, we all know that strategic management is good. Okay, now if let's say I try to, based on my research and all, I try to lower the prices of my product, anticipating that okay, my sales would go up. Okay, but I don't know, I can't basically predict as to what how the competitor is going to retaliate to this strategy of mine. Okay, so even if I lower it by, let's say, my product pricing, the price that we were selling it as was, let's say, 10 rupees. Okay, now I have cut down the price to 8 rupees. What if my competitor launches a very aggressive strategy? He retaliates to my strategy very aggressively and he starts selling the product at 5 rupees. It might so happen, and you can't predict how your competitors are going to respond to your strategy. So that's one limitation again. So the point says, again, please read it very carefully. In a competitive scenario where all organizations are trying to move strategically, it is difficult to clearly estimate the competitive responses to a firm strategy. So we can't really expect how my competitor is going to retaliate to this particular strategy. How is he going to respond to this strategy of mine? We can't predict this. So the heading is what? Uncertain competitive response. Okay, now let's say, again, I'll give you one example. Let's say we are a telecommunication company. Okay, Airtel, Jio, okay, all of you know this. So let's say we are into a telecommunication business and we try to lower down the prices to attract more customers. Okay, but then you never know, if I do this, what if my competitor, they might they might respond very aggressively by launching promotional campaigns or introducing new features or giving the connections free to the people, etc. They might do this, yes or no? When Geo came, guys, what had happened? They gave the phones and, SIM cards with free internet to everyone, almost for what, 6 8 months, 1 year also. And then what happened? They disrupted the entire telecommunication market. Everyone, Airtel, everyone had to lower the prices to basically survive, right? But you never know, what if, let's say, immediately when Jio came with the free SIM card and free internet, immediately if Airtel would have also retaliated in a very aggressive manner, things would have been very different for Jio, right? So the fourth limitation is basically what? Again, keep it in mind, don't forget in the exam. It is uncertain competitive responses. In very layman's terms, it simply means we don't know how the competitors are going to respond to our strategy. And this is one of the limitations. Fine. All right. So what are the four limitations, everyone? Number one is complex and uncertain environment. Number two, that strategic management is a time consuming process. It's a costly process also. And for this, uncertain competitive responses. Have you all understood this, guys?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it clear? Okay, great, great, great. Now,
Yes.
now that we have covered the concept of strategic management, guys, let me just quickly check few questions pertaining to the concept of strategic management that is there in our chapter here. Okay, so if you see, uh, yeah, this question first. Okay. Question number 7. I'm reading question number 7 first. What is strategic management? And write a note on the importance of strategic management, or let's say the benefits of strategic management. So we have clearly covered 7 benefits. You have to write them. Okay. It's a very direct question. So that is why the solution is not there. In fact, question number 8 also, if you see, are there any limitations attached to strategic management in an organization? Discuss. So we have to write about the 4 limitations. Okay. Okay, all right. So we have these limitations also asked in different manner. So both the questions, importance and limitations, guys, are important. Okay, if you see again a direct question, what benefits accrue by following a strategic approach to managing? What are the benefits of strategic management? This is what they have asked. So always remember, under strategic management benefits, we have covered 7 points. Limitations, we have covered 4 limitations. Okay, all right. One more question, though it's a very old question, but still, it says strategic management is a bundle of tricks and magic. I mean, strategic management is not kind of black magic or something like this, right? It involves a lot of intellectual application of concepts, right? So it says statement is false. Of course, strategic management is not a bundle of tricks and magic. It is a more serious affair. It's a serious thing, and it involves systematic and, see the word, it involves systematic and analytical thinking and action. It's not magic, right? We have to understand the environment, we have to apply our brains, we have to make strategies, of course, to gain competitive advantage. So it involves a lot of our skills. Okay, and formation of strategy requires careful planning, requires strong conceptual, analytical, and visionary skills. It's not like magic that you're going to say some mantra and things will work for you. It has to be done very carefully. You need to have analytical skills, you need to have the visionary skills. You have to think that yes, it can be done, it has to be done, it can be we can reach here. You have to have that visionary skills also. Okay. All right. So yeah, we covered one more question with respect to strategic management. All right, then we have some questions on vision, mission, and all that is we are going to take up later. Okay, so yes, for the timing now, guys, the topic strategic management is over, and I'm just summarizing again by we covered definition, we covered two objectives, seven benefits, and four limitations.